cardiovascular disease, stroke, all these health problems that the rest of America deals with, we actually have a higher rate of those problems within this job and this profession. And it's a real concern for everybody, whether we see it or not. And you got to look beyond just the top layer and the superficial problems. So, besides not having the time to really cook a meal sometimes and having to eat that cheeseburger out, maybe you make that healthy decision, but then what do you do about the stress levels? And what do you do about the hidden stress that you really don't even see, but you're dealing with your patients? Or what do you do about the constant anxiety that you get just by walking around the station wondering when your next call is going to come in? And, the cortisol levels in your body, they go up, and then it starts that chain reaction of, okay, well, you can live a healthy life, but you've had so much stress that the problems are starting to compound. And so now your healthy lifestyle is the same as this guy that doesn't work in emergency services that's been eating like crap for the last decade or so. It's a deeper problem than just as simple as some people think of. Stop going into, Taco Bell and ordering 40 tacos. There's an unseen, hidden level of danger that we deal with that you can't physically touch it. It's not palpable, but it's present all the time.
We are not the most physically fit of the first responders. Why? Because we ride around in this thing all day. The most physical demanding stuff we do is pick up a stretcher or pick up a patient, which doesn't happen all the time. There's more resources on the fire department side, so they're with us to help. And once again, if you're the only paramedic on scene, generally speaking, my hands are not physically on whatever's going on because I'm trying to get the bigger picture. So I've got other people that are doing the heavy lifting. When I was an EMT, I did more of the heavy lifting. As a medic, you don't. You use your brain more than you use your muscles, right? Well, we can't stop and take a lunch break. So we may go without eating. When we do eat, it's in a paper bag from a, fast food restaurant that's unhealthy. I dip. I use tobacco. It's a habit I have. I don't think it would be as severe, maybe, if I didn't do this job, just because we have a lot of, there are stresses, and if you do smoke or dip or drink, a lot of times that's to kind of reduce stress on your body, and of course we get more stress doing this job, so we do it more. We generally are bad patients. I'm a terrible patient if I'm ever sick. We don't take care of our bodies the way that we need to. And why? Why doesn't a mechanic come home from work and fix his own truck? Or a plumber come home and repair his own sink? You've been doing it all day, every day. You don't want to do it when you get home as well. I can tell you right now, my eating habits, my sleeping habits are way out of whack. I can be wide awake at 3 a.m. when I'm not at work. I might eat twice a day, I might eat once a day. Our bodies are under a lot of physical stress because of that. Especially when we're up for many hours during the night, your body heals when it's in sleep, and if we don't get sleep, your body's not healing from any kind of problem it has.
Lack of sleep's a real thing. It happens every single shift, even if you get to sleep all night. We'll ride the busiest truck, and on the off chance that we actually get to sleep during the night, you got to think how many times I've woken up in the middle of the night anticipating that call, checking the radio, like, oh man, did the battery die or something crazy? Because you're so used to getting up every hour, every other hour, that your brain almost doesn't let you hit that REM or that deep sleep so that you can progress your energy level to that next point for the next day. And I've slept 8 hours on a fire station and felt like I've only been asleep for 1. So it's not quality sleep. It's not good energy replenishment. It's just going through the motions. So when you get home the next day, you've got to find some way to segue yourself into life. If you don't stay active, it's not going to work. You need to constantly do something. I'll wash trucks, I'll vacuum, I'll do laundry, I'll go outside and take down the fence, put up the fence, or just do something stupid so that I'm not sitting on the couch, because the moment I sit down, I'm done. I'm sleeping. I know I'm going to get a deep sleep. I know it's going to be 5 hours, and it's not something that you want to do, but your body is shutting down, saying, look, it's time to find some rest, because you have downtime, and that's what's happening. And you can't fight your body, so you got to trick it. You've got to constantly stay busy, thinking, nope, we need to keep going, we need to keep going, we need to keep going.
The guys I know that work 48s, hats off to them. I don't know how they do it. I have a second job. It is not on an ambulance, but it is, in the medical field. I work at a hospital part-time as well. The guys I know that have longevity in this field have a second job that's something that has nothing to do with their primary job, whether it be fire or EMS. At the end of the day, I don't know a single firefighter, a single EMT, or a single paramedic that's a grown adult with a family that doesn't have more than one job. If I didn't have to leave in the morning and go to a second job, I could spend more time at home with my family, but I don't get paid enough. And I'm not saying I don't get paid well. You know, the service I work for is a very well-paying service, but at the end of the day, it's still not enough to support a normal family and all of the bills and things associated with having children, extracurricular activities, unless you know, your wife was to also work full-time. It's very rare to see a fireman or a paramedic that doesn't have more than one job. And if that would ever change, I think our health personally would change, because I would have, if I am at home, I'd have more energy and drive to actually go to the gym on a regular basis. But a lot of times when I get home, I don't want to do anything. I'm wore out.
We're always trying to keep physical activity fresh within the family. And so when we come home and we've been up for 48 hours, the hardest thing to do is to push through that next 8 hours to try to be a family man. And a lot of times, you know, your body just physically can't handle it. So that takes even more time out, because if I need to rest for that third day, then I go back to do another 48. That's 5 days away from my family, essentially. So you're just a body that's there. And that's where a lot of unhealthy habits are developed within this profession. You start taking energy drinks, start slinging Red Bulls and Monsters, and you can do everything you can to try to push through the next day. And even if you're not getting with your children, you know, you're going out taking care of business at the bank, you're going out to take care of business that you need to do on that day off, and it becomes very difficult on rough days. So, you know, the focus is always to try to make up for lost time, and that's also a really hard thing to do, because then you almost overcompensate, and it's hard to discipline kids because you haven't been home for 2 days, and then they start to act out, but you miss them, and you don't want to be the bad guy only when you're home. So there's a lot of check and balance that everybody in emergency services has to do at the family level to try to maintain that close physical connection as well as that same emotional connection at the same time.
My circadian rhythms are all out of whack. You know, I'm awake when I should be tired, and I'm tired when I should be awake. It is what it is. It's another sacrifice we make because we like doing the job. I know medics that have been doing this a long time that worry about getting that call at 3 a.m. when they've been up all night, or 4 a.m. on a critical patient, because unfortunately your fine motor skills, your decision-making skills, your cognitive function, and everything is impaired. It's dangerous. So hopefully that doesn't cause harm to a patient, but it's another risk and a sacrifice that we take, I guess.
In order to stay mentally sharp all the time, we find creative ways to stay awake and to produce energy for ourselves. So some people develop hobbies, and they do those hobbies while we're on shift. Some people are able to read a book. If I read one page, I'll fall asleep immediately. So that's not really me. You know, I've been that guy, you know, that's had Monsters, that's drank Red Bulls, that's tried every energy supplement that's out there. And, you know, I've gone down to the grocery store and go to the coffee aisle, get coffee beans and chew on coffee beans to try to suck some caffeine out of it. There's so many different things that everybody does differently to try to maintain energy levels and try to maintain mental sharpness. And some people need to rest, and some people do that. Some people can stay up for 24 hours or 48 hours and don't have to rest, and that's fine too. And it's a little bit different for everybody, but with the amount of advertising and the propaganda that's given us by the energy drink people, I mean, you know, somebody with a clever idea said, you know, we've got a 5-hour energy drink, it's this big, and if you drink it, then you're going to get, you know, 5 hours worth of energy. Every, you know, swinging Tom out there said, hey, you know, if I drink this, I can step for another 5 hours. What does that do for your health long term? And the key is really trying to find the natural, healthy way to balance why you don't have energy and how you're going to be productive without that energy.